Hey, what's good, YouTube? It is the one and only Fourth and Goal, and I'm back again with another video, man. So, as we all know, the NFL free agency opens up on March 15th. I believe that is a Wednesday, so that's a couple days from now at the time of this recording. And pretty much, man, I'm going to be ranking the pre-free agency, moves and stuff like that teams have done or have not done yet, going into free agency. Because free agency, it is a pretty big deal in the NFL. A lot of players obviously get paid, get moved, a lot of bidding and things like that, and you want to get some of that stuff out the way before the actual free agency happens, because once they pretty much verbally agree, it's pretty much like a done deal, and then once it officially happens or opens up, pretty much all those deals just happen just like that. So in today's video, pretty much we're just going through some of the pre-grading before the free agency. So one of the first teams you got to talk about are the Chicago Bears, and I give them a big fat D. Pause. Okay, and I give them that because they haven't really moved the first round pick or haven't really fluttered around with the first round pick. Now the thing is, I believe that they can get a overhaul of assets by moving that first round or that first overall pick to a team like the Panthers, the Saints, or even the Commanders. Well, not the Saints anymore because they got Derek Carr, but I think they could have got a lot of assets from these teams. And I say that because a lot of these, these three teams, they need a quarterback, and pretty much how the formula to win now is get a young quarterback and then pay the premium price for a good receiver, a good defense, a good O-line, but have that quarterback on a cheap rookie deal, so that way he's not eating up most of the salary cap. Man, pretty much I think after this year, Justin Fields, he's pretty much up for a big contract, and I just think, I'm not saying move off of him, but obviously I'm not saying move off of him, but trade back to a team that needs a quarterback and get their first pick and get a lot of assets. And a team like the Commanders, again, they're missing a quarterback from our previous video. The Saints, they're missing a quarterback, not anymore because they got Derek Carr. And the Panthers, they definitely need a quarterback. I don't think Matt Corral, I really don't know if he's going to get a fair shot. If he does, I'm 100% rooting for him, but I just think the Bears should have got a lot of assets. And then Eddie Jackson, I think it's time to move off the Eddie Jackson project. Pretty much have a new face for the defense, and I think it can be a Jalen Johnson, or if they get Jalen Carter, it could be Jalen Carter. I just think that you can get a lot of assets, a lot of draft capital off of Eddie Jackson. So I give them a D, but hey, it's never too late. I just think of right now they have a D. Okay, moving on to the next team. We just mentioned them, the Commanders. I give them a B+, and the two reasons are simple. They got a new coordinator, and they got rid of Carson Wentz's contract, and they also got rid of Bobby McCain. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. The Carson Wentz contract was, horrendous, even though I'm a big Carson Wentz fan. They got rid of Bobby McCain, really didn't do too well on the Commanders. And then they got a new offensive coordinator to, pretty much revamp the offense, make their offense a lot more electrifying, make them better offense. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory, really nothing to dive deep into. Now it's just all about, can they get pieces to make the offense better. So since we're in the NFC East, we got to talk about my Eagles, and we have an F-, and I give us an F- because we haven't re-signed anybody. We haven't really obtained any of our Super Bowl core pieces back. We're pretty much on the brink of losing our whole secondary, and our D linemen are pretty much all about to walk. And the difference between 2 and 3 is our secondary. I think Chauncey, Marcus Epps, and James Bradbury, they're free agents, but Darius Slay is pretty much demanding a trade if he doesn't get a long-term deal, and pretty much our whole D lineman but Jordan Davis is on the free agency market, and obviously Jordan Davis is not going to ask for a trade right now. I mean, if he does, I'd be crazier, but we need to get some of our core pieces back on this team, man. I would like to have Fletcher Cox. I'd like to have James Bradbury or Chauncey. Marcus Epps is the only player that I'll be fine with going away from the secondary, but I want to keep Darius Slay and Chauncey together. James Bradbury, obviously. I want to keep Fletcher Cox. He is a big part of this team, of this culture, in the locker room and things like that. And I just think once actual free agency hits, a lot of teams are just gonna, sign these players away for more money because they have the Super Bowl experience, veteran leadership, and they can still produce at a high level, especially Fletcher Cox. At times, he can be the best defensive tackle, and then sometimes he could be, at worst, a top 10 defensive tackle. So I think he can still be a top defensive tackle. The Jalen Hurts deal, man, we got to get this done before these other quarterbacks get paid. And what I don't want is for him to eat 30% of our salary cap the next 10 years or the next 5 years. Make it to where we can't pay other guys or pay other positions to help him perform at a high level. So right now, F minus. So moving on to another green team, Flying Machine. No, I'm just playing. But this is my first team, and this has to be the Jets. And obviously, I want them to have a quarterback. I think Zach Wilson is not the quarterback for the future for this team. A-Rod, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, or whoever else, they did not get them. But I do love that Chuck Clark move. I know people were hot about the Jets and the Ravens, about Lamar Jackson and stuff. But I think Chuck Clark can provide a lot of good to this team, a really good service to this team, mainly because of his leadership. Like, I don't know if y'all remember or not, but a couple years ago, him and Earl Thomas got into it because, Chuck Clark does not put up with no BS. Like, he's willing to win. He may be the best player, but his leadership and things like that on the Ravens team and just his production, like, he is still a good safety in my eyes. Really good coverage safety, and I think he can provide a lot of veteran leadership in that locker room, in the DB room. So I like that, but that's my first I think it's still too early. Again, this is the pre-free agency, not during or post, but pre-free agency. So moving on to the next team, C team, not didn't do too good, didn't do too bad, right in the middle, and it's the Cardinals, man. I think what's about them is they did not move from the D-Hop contract, right? Which if you don't know, D-Hop's contract don't really. I mean, it's not super bad because he still perform at a high level, but he could be more flexible in terms of his contract. But they did move off of the Cantor and Robbie Anderson and pricey Rodney Hudson, but they did not get a deal done for Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy is probably their best, if not their second best secondary player. Buda Baker, obviously, so second or third between him and Jalen Thompson. Sorry. So Buda Baker 1, and Jalen Thompson and Byron Murphy are fighting for number 2. So I just think it's kind of hard to get a really good corner nowadays. And if you let go of Byron Murphy, which I know he's not the best, he's not Jalen Ramsey, he's not Marlon Humphrey or Marshawn Lattimore, but he still can perform at a decent level. And if you just let him walk, making a big mistake. So going back to the NFC East, we got the Cowgirls or the Cowboys, whatever you want to call them, man. And I give them an A. And I actually like what they're doing with the team. First off, they franchise tag Tony Pollard, didn't commit to him fully to where he's getting guaranteed money. And if he gets hurt, you owe him that money still. They did save a lot of cap. Well, not a lot of cap, but they were saving some cap space to possibly get some more supporting cast players, and they got rid of Leighton Vander Esch, which I think some people are like, yes, get rid of him. Other people are saying no, still keep him. He still performs at a decent level. But I like that they're getting rid of him. So that's definitely A in my book. I cannot wait to see who they add to the roster though for the supporting cast, for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and stuff like that. So going to our second biggest losers, it has to be the Vikings, and I say this because pretty much they received no assets for Eric Kendricks or Adam Thielen. They just pretty much just let them walk. And in my eyes, I mean, I'm not saying that they're in their primes or 2017, 2016, or even 2018, but I just think you could have got something off of them, something from them, but instead you just let them walk. And, yes, they could be saving some cap space for the future. Obviously, they want to give Justin Jefferson as much money, to get a lot of cap space for Justin Jefferson, but still, at least get some, 5th round, 6th round picks for these guys. So the final team we got to talk about are the New York Giants, and I actually love what they did. I gave them a B+. I gave Daniel Jones a semi-cheap. It's not expensive, but it's not super cheap. I think they paid him the right amount of money, honestly. I like how they franchise tagged Saquon Barkley, didn't fully commit to him, and just again, like Tony Pollard, if he gets hurt, he's still under contract, it's going to be hard to move him and things like that. And they got rid of Kenny Galladay, which we all know, bro, was a overpaid receiver. Pretty much did nothing all season. So, pretty much, man, these are the rankings before. Obviously, during free agency and things like that, I'm going to give my thoughts on what I do and don't like from teams and things like that. But this is just a pre-free agency and things like that. So, but hey, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, like this video, man. We are out. Peace.